So
Gotcha.
I would have to say Chris Webber.
How about playing overseas?
Overseas, I got to think on that one. It was so many good guys. Nobody really comes to mind. It was a guy I was over in Korea. I went over to trial for a team, and there was a guy named Nate Johnson. I think he came out of Louisville in 2000.
Mm.
I mean, this guy was he was so good, and I had to ask him. I said, man, why are you playing over here? Of course, he was getting big money, but I mean, I was like, man, this guy could definitely go to a team because he was about 6'7", 6'8", can handle the ball,
Yeah.
jump, shoot. I mean, he didn't have a weakness.
Yeah.
And you know, like he said, man, I just, you know, I didn't really shine in Louisville like that. You know, he was a good player, but you know, I guess it just wasn't for him, and he was overseas, so he's probably the one guy that I was like, man, this guy's really good. So, but I played against a lot of good guys that, you know, sometimes that pro level, you got so many guys going for it. There's only a certain number of spots. You know, I tell my kids, I said, man, you know, it's 500,000 kids playing high school basketball. You know, that comes from the NCAA. And out of that 500,000 plus kids, 46 will go pro, will go to the NBA.
Wow.
And I said, man, do you know how small the number that is? It's so many good players out here. So just because you know, because the kids now, as they say, you know, they get it twisted. You know,
Yeah.
a guy is sitting on the bench. He's the 10th man on the team, and he's only getting $2 million. Oh man, he's sad. I'm like, dude, you know how good you got to be just to sit on that bench?
Yeah.
You know, maybe to go overseas to a certain league and play on a certain team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you know, like I said, I didn't make my dream of playing in the NBA, but I felt like I was blessed. You know, maybe this door didn't open, but another door opened. I was able to see the world. I was able to play in some great leagues overseas, play some really good basketball, meet some good people, and you know, in the end, that's what it's about. You know, the people that, you know, you gave it your all, you met some great people, you made some contacts, and now it's time to move on.
What is Brandon Brantley currently doing right now?
Working with kids, working with some troubled youth, making sure that they can kind of turn their lives around from some of the past mistakes, get out here and contribute positively to society. So, trying to get on the Division I level as a coach. I think I'm coming closer. You know, it's kind of hard. I said, man, you think that I played pro ball and you know some guys and you got to pay your dues a little bit. So I was at Ben Davis 4 out of the last 5 years. Learned a lot. So now, you know, it's time to move on now. So that's the next challenge in my life.
What kind of transition is that, real quick? Being the man, being the star, getting all the perks, and then now you're going back to not really reality, but you're going back to the average human life almost, to where you're not getting them perks and all that stuff no more.
I mean, some of the stuff you miss, and
Yeah.
it's kind of hard sometimes watching basketball because, you know, you want to compete. And I'm like, man, I said, man, I'm gonna get out here with these guys and play.
Yeah.
You know, in your mind, I was telling my father, I said, man, in my mind, I know I can dunk on him, but my legs say no.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's kind of hard, but just being able to be home with my family, you know, being able to be with my wife every day, and being able to drive up on holidays and be with my family, because, you know, for about 10 years I was overseas, so I missed out on a lot of things.
Gotcha.
You know, grandmother passed away a couple of years ago, and so I look back and said, man, that's a lot of time I probably could have been with her. It's one of my favorite people of all time. I was overseas, and you know, call her sometimes, but it's not the same as being there. You know, so man, just being able to be here, be around loved ones is big for me. Just, you know, little simple things that people probably take for granted. You know, just waking up in my own house and going outside and it's a nice day. That's big for me. Because a lot of times I was overseas and traveling and just moving fast. And now it's, you know, working. It's another phase of my life. I'm going after a different challenge. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it. I accept it, and I know what's going to happen.
Gotcha. What kind of advice can you give to a future athlete who may one day be in your shoes? You know, one of the tallest kids. At first, you know what I'm saying, wasn't as talented as other people in the neighborhood, but as he got better and better, grew. Play big time basketball in high school, play big time basketball in college. What kind of advice can you give to that type of athlete?
Develop thick skin and keep working. Don't never let somebody tell you what you can't do. I tell the kids I work with, take can out your vocabulary, man. Like I said, I was probably the worst, in that age group back in we used to play at Sunnyside. Man, I just kept working at it. I man, I want to be a ball player, and I come out there sometimes middle of the day is hot, just running, trying to grab the rim. I was out there just hanging on the rim, trying to touch it, rim touches, and just doing little silly stuff like that. But I was always fortunate to have people around me that wouldn't let me put my head down or wouldn't let me quit. And tell the kids, man, listen to somebody that's older than you, 'cause they went through it. As much as you don't want to, because your pride might get in the way, and you think you know it all, you don't. I was really blessed coming up to have some good, wonderful people in my life. My coaches did so much for me. I had a great coach at Andran. And man, my first AAU coach was Ronnie Robinson, called him Perk. He's over at Thea Bowman. Man, he was probably one of I tell the kids now. I said, man, it's 20 years ago. I said, man, when you cross him, man, he liable to steal on you or something. And, man, he put us in the dirt. But it made it. I mean, we all came out stronger because of that. And our parents would be sitting over there, and he said, don't look at them. They're not gonna save you. And, man, we practiced intelligence girls gyms, just hot, man, no water. We had to run out there on that track. They hadn't cut the grass in 15 years, man. But man, it made us so much stronger.
Yeah.
I said Chris Artis, his uncle Mike Artis, played on that 1970 East Chicago Roosevelt championship team.
Yeah.
And played at the University of Cincinnati, played overseas a little bit. One summer he brought me and Chris up to Cincinnati for about a week. I think it's gonna be a vacation. Man, we were working two, 3 times a day. He takes us to the University of Cincinnati. We run in the stadium stairs. We're gonna run a couple of miles, dribbling the ball. Wouldn't let us rest. And I was like, man, it just did, man. I was like, wow, I made it through this experience and did so much for me. He's another guy that, I owe a lot to, just, that 1 week. So, man, make sure you listen to older people that have been through it, as much as you might not want to, need to, because, especially, a lot of the older people got your back, so you got to listen to them.
Gotcha. I was just mentioning to you about yourself and Gary Patterson, being guys from East Chicago that went on to play at Andran and Bishop. Do you encourage more athletes that live in inner cities to play at private institutions? Or
I mean, you have to go to probably where you think you're gonna do the best, where you're gonna fit in the best. I wouldn't encourage somebody to go to a school and they not fit in. I'd give them the pros and cons. Say, hey, you want to go to Andran? You're gonna get a great education. It's a safe, secure environment. As opposed to some other school. Like I said, not putting it down, but that's just the
truth.
The times that we live in. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You might tell somebody, well, hey, you stay in Chicago, man, you got your family, you got your friends. Sometimes that might not be a good thing for somebody, but for some people, that's a great thing because they feel the love and maybe they don't want to let their loved ones down, so they're gonna do their best, and not only on the court but in the classroom. So, like I said, it's wherever you feel comfortable, wherever you think you're gonna do the best.
Got you. Quick question for you, real quick, because now you've been living in Annapolis. In the state of Indiana, the region, as they call the Northwest Indiana, don't get a lot of credit in pub for their athletic talents. Do you have a reason why up north don't get all the credit, maybe like in Annapolis or other parts of the state?
Well, Indianapolis is the city in Indiana. They got the Indianapolis Star. It's, all the major media outlets. So, of course, it'll probably be like Los Angeles in the state of California. They're gonna get all the shine. And, it's a little bit different. It's kind of sad when you look at, like Gary. A lot of the schools are closing down. And I was talking to a guy today talking about track and field down here, and I remember when Gary Roosevelt was so dominant.
Yeah.
You know, it was just a given. Gary Roosevelt was going to win the title.
Yeah.
Gary Roosevelt was going to win the title. Gary Roosevelt was going to win the title. Now it's not like that anymore. You know, some schools, I mean, they have a hard time just putting a football team together.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's just because it's not enough jobs, and people are moving. They want their kids to have a better opportunity than they did. And I mean, I just miss those glory days. I remember when all 5 schools in Gary were firing on all cylinders. East Chicago Central was a powerhouse. Maryville was up and coming. You had some of the Hammond schools were going to be competitive, Bishop Noel, Andran. And now, I mean, you know, sad to say, when you don't have that money, you know, facilities start to deteriorate, and people start looking for other opportunities. You know, it's so much talent down here that's supposed to be in the region in Gary and Chicago.
Yeah.
But families move down here because, you know, you look at schools like Ben Davis and Warren Central and Carmel, you just can't compete because the facilities are so good. You know, so you know it's kind of sad. And, I know it's a lot different from like when we grew up, but. You know, any chance I get, I remind guys. I said, you know, can't do anything sometimes when times change and, you know, on the down economy, that's how it is. But I said, don't forget. You know, back in the day, you know, everybody knew. You know, we bringing titles home: basketball, track. You know, some great football teams, a lot of great athletes, a lot of great people coming out of Gary. You know, so you know, hopefully some things will change and you know, it'll be a little bit better.
So what is your goals for the future? I know you say you want to go into coaching, but do you have any other goals outside of basketball?
Right now, I'm so focused on getting to that Division I level. You know, I tell people, I said, man, I get up there just to be able to go through that experience and learn basketball from maybe a coach that's been there, and you know, who knows? Maybe I said, man, this might not be for me. You know, another goal is go to grad school. Talking to a guy, he's an athletic director at a big time university, and he was saying I wanted to go into coaching, and then once I got to this level, I was director of basketball operations, and I said, you know what, I really don't want to coach. I want to coach coaches, and I was like, wow, you know, to be on that level and maintaining the facilities and kind of navigating the direction of a school's athletic department. So, you know, because one door opens up and you think it's supposed to go this way and you get in and all of a sudden you got to go that way. So, you know, it's in God's hands. Like I said, I just want to get that opportunity and whatever happens, happens.
Gotcha. Brandon, I want to thank you for being on Athletes Lives Network, man. Been a pleasure having you on. In the future, man, I want to do a round table with some of the greats that ever come to the region, and I'd like to have you on there for a good discussion.
Well, you got my number.
I got you.
Anytime you give me a call, I'm there.
Okay. This is Athletes Lives Network. Once an athlete, always an athlete.